Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Jacinta. This is Build Beyond You, a space where we rediscover our identities, build our human blueprints, and step into our true leadership authority. You're very welcome. 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 You can share the live and have other people join us. Share the live, share the live. Share the live, share the live, share the live, and let other people join us as well. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Okay. Once again, my name is Jacinta. This is Build Beyond You, a space where we rediscover our identities, build our human blueprints, and step into our true leadership authority. Our theme this week is focus versus distractions. Focus versus distractions. In the morning, we had a session where we're talking about the same, but we're having an awakening and we understood what focus is and why distractions come in when you actually do receive direction. And we also discussed in mid morning, we had a reflection on how emotions actually are a default, should I say, mechanism, default mechanism to uh, distractions, like the distractions, emotions. What is it called? What is it called? People use emotions as a defense mechanism. Yeah, that's actually the right word. We use emotions as a defense mechanism. Now, we want to understand focus. Focus is not enough. Okay? If you understand what focus is not enough. Today, we're talking about how to structure your life so that focus is protected. How do you protect focus? Okay? Because if you have insight and you do not have structure, then you're going to have a leakage in your focus. Okay? Now, this is for you. If you feel successful outwardly, but disconnected inwardly. If you keep repeating patterns and you want to outgrow these patterns, then this is for you. If you're a leader, a builder, or a professional, and you need clarity in your leadership, in this journey of leadership, then this is for you. If you want to focus and you don't want noise, this is also for you. If you're ready to rebuild from the inside first before you get to the outward, this is for you. And here we teach you how to break cycles, how to rebuild inwardly, and how to lead with wholeness. How do we focus? How do we move in clarity? And how do we continue with the vision that we have been entrusted with without over burning out? Okay. So, as you can see, the title is Breaking Cycles Through Intentional Attention, which is focusing. Okay. Um, we've been going through classes of breaking cycles for around 23 to 25 days. Yes, 23 to 25 days. And we've been looking at so many reasons as to why the root causes of the cycles that we experience. We've been looking at one, the root causes, and what exactly do these causes target? They target your identity. And as I said in the beginning, this is a space where you rediscover your identity, build your human blueprint, and step into your true leadership authority. Now, when I say step into your true leadership authority, you may be a leader, you may be a builder, you may be a business person, but have you truly stepped into your leadership authority? Or you are a leader without authority? Or you are a leader with authority, but you are not, your identity is not whole. Because when you start building from the inward, and then you go outward, start building outward, you will have a firm foundation of what you're building. And here we look at continuity. How do we ensure legacy? How do we ensure that our vision is not diluted along the way? How do we ensure we do not burn out at some point? Okay. So we talked about what focus is, and focus is not productivity. Focus is not about doing more, but it is about alignment. And all this time we've been talking about alignment, alignment, alignment. And distraction does not just appear randomly. Distraction always begins to appear when you start getting direction. So we looked at all this in the morning, and right now we want to go into structure. We want to go into structure. Now, many people say, I'm trying, but nothing is changing. I'm trying, but nothing is changing. And the issue is not effort. There is a leakage in your focus. That's why you try and nothing changes, because there's a leakage. And that's what you need to find out. What is the leakage? I'm trying to focus, but there's a leakage. I'm trying to focus, but there are distractions. What is it? What does leakage while you are focusing look like? When you are focusing and there's a leakage, that means there's overcommitment. What are you overcommitting to? That means there are emotional distractions. What is emotionally distracting you from focusing on what you have actually set out to do? Unclear priorities. What are the priorities? Have you written down your first top 5 priorities? Every single day, do you prioritize what you're doing as a leader, as a builder? Most of the times when we are owners of businesses, we may not even really prioritize what we are going to do, just because we are in charge of this, in charge of that, in charge of that. But now we need to get out of that and come into prioritizing. Then another reason as to why there may be a leakage in your focus, ask yourself, are you constantly reacting, or are you planning, strategizing? Because if you're reacting, then that means you are fixing, 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 fixing. You must be able to plan. Scattered effort produces exhaustion. But when you strategize, you will have results. But scattered effort produces exhaustion and not results. So why don't your results match your effort? You put in a lot of effort. Day in, day out, you put in a lot of effort. Why aren't your results matching your effort? Now, let me give you a graph as a reason as to why your results may not be matching your effort. One, your effort without focus equals burnout. Imagine if you put in a lot of effort, but there is no focus. What are you focusing on? What direction are you taking? What direction are you taking? Remember, we said focus is not productivity. Focus is not doing more. Focus is about alignment. So, what is it that you are putting in so much, the effort that you're putting in without focus? Definitely, it's going to result to burnout. And focus without effort, I've said effort without focus equals to burnout. Focus without effort equals to clarity, because now you are focusing and you're not putting in any effort, but you're staying still, but you are focusing. Then it will become clearer to you what exactly you want to do. So when you focus and you don't put in any effort, it will be so clear to you. Sometimes you just need to focus, stay still, and ask yourself, what is it? What is it that I need to put? What is it that I need to do? Sometimes you need to focus without doing anything. And that is focus without effort. Because focus without effort equals to clarity. You will have clarity in stillness. And once you have that clarity, without even putting in an effort, get the focus, okay, where you actually got your clarity when you focus, add it to the effort, okay, and then you will have transformation. First, focus without putting in an effort so that you can be clear with the direction you want to take. As soon as you focus without putting in effort, and this happens a lot with creatives get to a point and focus without putting in anything. They just sit down and focus and think and think and think. Maybe there's something that they want to decode and it's just not working out. But then they get to a point and just don't do anything but sit and focus and just probably look at the word, like let me look at the word document for a very long time. And guess what? Just that looking at the document for a very long time, you are actually focusing. This focus is going to give you clarity of vision, clarity of where you want to go. That is that direction. And before you know it, you're now going to sit down, okay, with this clarity plus the focus that you got, and then you start putting in the effort. And then you will have transformation. You don't have to go through the burnout. But imagine if you put in effort and you don't have focus. What is the result? It's going to be burnout. And if you put in focus without putting in an effort, it's going to give you clarity. Now add this focus that you have generated without putting in effort to effort. The actual activity, what you need to do. Focus plus effort, then you have results, which is transformation. Now, how do we identify the leakage? How do we identify leaks? I need you to ask yourself one question. Where does my energy go daily? Where does my energy go daily? If you're able to answer that, then you'll be able to go back to the drawing board. What have I not been focusing on? When you ask yourself that question, where does my energy go daily? It will be easier for you to go back and then focus. And then you ask yourself, what do I give attention to that produces no growth? What is it that you give attention that produces no growth? If you're able to answer that question, then you'll know, am I giving attention to the wrong area? If you do not see growth, you're giving attention to this area and you don't see growth, then you need to go back to the drawing board. But if you give attention to this area and you see growth, and even if it's as small as a mustard seed, I should say, as long as you see growth to an area that you give attention, then that means you can still focus more. And transformation does not take just number of days. It takes some time. That is results. Some of the things that you do or we do take some time. We need results from this. So another question you should ask yourself is, what am I avoiding by staying busy? What are you avoiding by staying busy? What are you avoiding by staying busy? You can be busy when you're avoiding, you can be busy doing a lot more, but when you are avoiding something that is even more important. And the key lesson here is that you don't need more motivation. You need contained attention. You need to focus on one thing at a time. Focus on it. Fix your eyes on it. Do it so well. See growth in what you are doing. Pick one particular area and see growth one step after the other. If you don't see growth, sometimes you need to be patient. Sometimes you need to look for where is the leakage, which we have been looking at right now. And that's why we have a structured lesson today, because we are looking at, where am I putting in effort? Have I really focused on the area where I'm putting effort? That's a question you should ask yourself. If you are putting effort in an area where you have actually not focused on, you don't have direction in that area, you don't know where you're headed, you don't have clarity, then you need to stop and focus and be still. And that's why we had a discussion in the morning and we talked about what is focus. And clearly, focus is alignment. An alignment is that, are your decisions, are your choices, is your identity in alignment with everything to do with you, with your character, your values, your decisions, your choices? And that's why we go back to rediscovering identity. Sometimes we go out and we build out there when our identity is not whole, when we have fractures, when we have fragmented identity, when we have wounds on our identity. That's why I call you back to let's build inwardly first. And this is what this platform is all about, building inwardly first, building the foundation. This inward that you're building, finding out what your innate abilities are and using them to actually build what you want to build outside is what is going to make things even much easier, because then you're going to build with clarity. Then you're not going to have burnout at the end of the day. Because the reason as to why we have burnout is we pay attention so much to what we are building outside and we completely forget about ourselves. That's why I said, if you are a leader, if you are a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a professional, and you want to stop building with or leading with burnout, because you get to a point and you break down. You get to a point and you break down. And the reason as to why you break down is because there's a lot of emptiness in you. There's a lot of dissatisfaction in you. Why? Because you are building outwardly and you have forgotten about you. Sometimes we need to go back to us and first build inwardly, build the foundation inwardly, unlearn belief systems that may affect you at some point, team. You see, it starts with, I speak with experience in this area. I was running businesses for 15 years. 15 years. Building. And my businesses were very busy. I had a contract catering business. I'm preparing food breakfast, lunch, dinner for over 300 people every single day. And then I had the restaurant running that could seat over 300 people. And then I started building residences because, I mean, the money was coming in, but I was forgetting about myself, the vision bearer. So what happens to the vision bearer when the in, inner part of the vision bearer starts leaking, starts breaking, starts having wounds, starts fracturing, starts getting fragmented? There are a lot of expectations that are going to be piling on you. Everyone is going to expect you to be perfect in every area. The expectations are higher when you're a leader, when you're a business person. So if you go outward and build and forget about yourself, you're going to break down. You're going to burn out. Your focus at some point is going to have a leakage. And you might end up losing everything that you have ever worked so hard for. So why don't we go back to rebuilding inwardly and lead with wholeness and focus and have clarity of where we are going so that we don't have to come back to the drawing board? I failed so many times because I focused on building outwardly and focused less on building inwardly. This led to burnout. This led to an emptiness and a dissatisfaction that no one could understand. When I made the decision to walk away and take a retreat from everything so that I can go back to the drawing board and this time round rebuild with clarity, with focus, with clear systems and structures. And when I say systems and structures, they're not necessarily for the business. Inward, your systems and structures as a person, as the vision bearer. Because if you're able to build all those empires that you're building, that dynasty, what about you? Everything is coming from you. Now we need to go back to you. We need to take care of you. We need to break the negative behavioral patterns that you're using as a defense mechanism. What is it that you're running to? What are you emotionally running to as a mechanism to avoid the pain, to avoid the pressure, to avoid the expectation of the world? Because the world expects a lot from you. And I'm calling you back to rebuild inwardly and then lead with wholeness. So take a retreat. Think about it. If you want to continue with this program, because we have a continuity program that will help you rebuild inwardly. But before I get to the continuity program, I want you to carry out a practical exercise, okay? Because you don't need more motivation, you need contained attention, okay? For the next 24 hours, I want you to get one priority, get one discipline, and get one focus area. One priority, one discipline, one focus area. Yourself that you can focus on. Yourself that you can focus on. Nothing else should matter. I want you to focus on yourself. Get one priority about you. Get one discipline about you. Get one focus area about you. Forget about the business. Forget about your dynasty. I just want you to focus, because even when you're long gone, the next day they'll sell everything. They may not, but they may. So what about your hard earned labor? What about your time? What about all the effort that you have put in? So get one priority, one discipline, one focus area. Nothing else should get authority but those three that I want to, even if it's just one, prioritize it, look at a discipline that you're going to activate yourself, okay? Get an area that you're going to focus on. Prioritize that area. Get a discipline that you're going to practically carry out in regards to that area that you're prioritizing, okay? And take back authority in that area before you lose yourself. Now, focus. When there's leakage in focus, it weakens your progress. However strong you may be, you can only be so strong. You're a human being. As long as there's a leakage in your focus, it's going to weaken your progress. Simplicity restores power. Sometimes you need to just give it a break. Just give it a break. For example, I'll give you a very silly example. I was using my phone in the bathroom, I think for some days, and steam kept on entering my phone. A phone doesn't do with water, but I was listening to some audios continuously. And because I was so used to my very huge bathroom, and here I come to a smaller bathroom. Now, I forgot completely and was used to the same habit. So I put the phone in the bathroom, and the steam kept on entering my phone. And now my phone is not available. So question is, my phone is not available. And I've not had a phone for like, I think 2 days. But my WhatsApp is available because I have my WhatsApp on my laptop, right? But I'm having a break from phone calls for 3 days. Okay? Do you know the peace that I have right now? You need that. I actually said, I can do without a phone. Not that I can do without a phone, that's not responsible because you have work to do, right? But within the 3 days of not having a phone, if anyone resonates with what I am saying, sometimes you need that peace. So get a particular area that you can prioritize, yeah? And have a discipline. Focus on that area that you have lost authority over, that has power over you, that has control over you. And think about how you can take back authority in that area. Because you have authority, you have the power. So, is there an area in your life where you have lost power, where you have lost authority, that you need to take back as a leader, as a builder, as a visionary, as a professional? Sometimes simplicity restores your power. And taking back your power means that doesn't have control over me, that doesn't have power over me. So I take back my power by being simple. In some areas, just look at one area, focus on it, where you have lost your power and your authority. Because when things are clear, momentum, you'll build momentum for things. You'll start building momentum things start coming back to normal. Clutter goes away, distractions start fading away, they fall off naturally. The moment you focus in simplicity, in stillness, in silence, without putting in effort, clarity will emerge. And when clarity emerges, then momentum will be created. Momentum for what? To build again or to continue building. Because at the end of the day, you want a legacy. You want generations after you to take on what you're leaving behind. They won't be able to take on what you're leaving behind if you are broken, if your identity is wounded and fragmented, because that's exactly the output for whatever you're building, because it starts with you. But the beauty about all this is that contained attention breaks cycles. All these negative behavioral patterns, belief systems that you've had for so many years are going to fall off, break off. Some of these things require you. You going back to the drawing board. What did I come to this world with? Nothing. Why do we strain ourselves so much and lose ourselves to the businesses that we create, to the buildings that we build? Why? Transformation is not a moment, it's continuity. So if you're looking at transforming step by step, then this is for you. And continuity requires structure, requires boundaries, requires sustained focus from you. Not we're stepping away from all this and we're looking at you. You, the leader, you, the visionary. Now, where are you in the processes that I've talked about? When I said rediscovering, where are you? Are you rediscovering your identity? Are you in the process of cultivating those innate abilities? Are you already in a leadership position, a creative, a visionary, a professional, a builder? And you've already rediscovered your identity. You know your innate abilities. You are actually building, but either you're experiencing burnout, which might take you back to square one inwardly. So, depending on where you are, we have structured continuity programs for leaders, visionaries, professionals, builders that are designed for each phase. You don't need to rush, you just need to be honest about where you are in this whole three phase. Okay? We're moving from focus to discipline to consistency, and the ultimate is transformation. So, are you ready for continuity? Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.